In this video, we are going to take a look at regular expressions in Python. So we are going to look at the match function, the search function. We are going to compare those two, how they differ. We are going to use search and replace. And we are also going to see what modifiers we can use. We are going to see what option flags there are. We are going to see what patterns we can use with regular expressions. So basically we are going to cover the bulk of regular expressions here in as a short time frame as possible. So let us start. First of all, what are regular expressions? So regular expressions are a sequence of characters that match a certain pattern and that is going to search for that certain pattern within a string. So we can extract certain patterns from a string. In order to avoid any confusion and make this as straightforward as possible, we are going to use R for row string within all our expressions in order to avoid certain escape characters and so on. So let us start with the first one, the match function. So the match function has a pattern, it has a string, and it has a flag. So we have different flags here. I have listed all the flags we can use. For example, REI, which performs case insensitive matching. REL, which interprets words according to the current local. So we have REM, makes the $sign match at the end of the line and makes the cap here match at the start of the line. And we have other ones as well. I will leave the documentation here so you can take a look for yourself. And we also have expression patterns. So those are all the patterns that you can use. So for example, there are things like the caps lock here, which matches beginning of a line, a $end of a line, a dot that matches any single character except the new line. We have our brackets here that matches any single character in the brackets. Then with the lock here, matches any single character not in the brackets. A star matches 0 or more occurrences of preceding expression. So let us create the first example here for our match. Let's create our string, which is going to be something like robots are much cooler than chicken. A reference to Robot Chicken. So let us create our first match. So our match is going to be equal to RE. So let us import the module here. So in order to use our regular expressions, we are going to import the RE modules from Python. So import RE. Okay. So it's going to be equal to re.match. And now we want to match the following. First, let us give our row string to escape all escaping characters. And inside of that, we are going to use the following. So we want to match everything here in between, let's say R, and everything afterwards here, and the end here as well. So now we have provided our pattern here. Now what we need to provide is the string. So let us provide our string here. And then what we can do is set a flag. So for example, let us a flag like I, which means that we want to ignore case. So let us check what those here mean. So as we have said, matches any single character except new line. The star here matches 0 or more occurrences of preceding expression. And let us search for the question mark, matches 0 or 1 occurrence of preceding expression. Okay, so now we have a few ways how we can access this. We can either use groups, which is going to return us all the matches that were found, or we can return a group that is going to return us a specific match that was found. So let us do that. If we did found a match, we are going to print our match, let's say group. Let us print this out. So I have opened my console here, and let us run this. Python regex.py. So here we got our entire group, which is robots are much cooler than chickens. So our entire match here. So let us, for example, call group 1, which is only going to return robots. And let us call group 2, which is going to return much. So after our R, let us return 3. Okay, so we got only group 1 and 2. So the groups is going to return all the matching subgroups, and the group with the specific number provided here is going to return only one specific subgroup of that number that we have provided. So let us go to our search function. This function searches for the first occurrence of our pattern within the string while providing our optional flags. So as you can see, it's pretty similar to our match function. So what we could do here is, let's say, we could copy our example from here and let's paste it and use search. So let us first print our group here, and it also returned robots are much cooler than chicken. So what we could also do is call 1, and it's going to return robots, and it's going to return much. Okay, great. So, but what's actually the difference? So as we have seen, there are two ways how our expressions can work, but match checks for a match only at the beginning of a string, while search checks for a match anywhere in the string. So this is the difference. Match is only at the beginning of the string, while search checks for a match anywhere in the string. So let us see an example for that here. Let me comment this here out. Let us first copy our string. So this is going to be our string here. Now we are going to have a match, which is equal to RE match. Now again, we are using raw string. In this case, we wouldn't really need to use a raw string, but let us still stay consistent here for our string, and we are going to ignore cases. So if we found a match, we are going to print match, and we're going to print our match group. Else we're going to print no match. So let us do the same for our search. So let me copy this here, and we're going to use search here. We're going to call this search, and we're going to write our search here. Search. Doesn't really make sense to say no search, but it's easier to get the point. So let us run this, and so as you can see, so robots is at the beginning of our string here, and it was found as a match and a search. But let us change this now to chicken, for example. Chicken, if I can spell it, chicken, and let us run this now. And as you can see, it's no match for our match function, but our search function did find the chicken. So as you can see, our match is only going to match for the beginning of a string, as we had with robots here, and our search is going to search throughout the entire string. So let us comment this out here, and let's go to the next one. So search and replace. One of the most important methods is our sub method. So what we can do with that is we can search for a certain pattern and replace it. We also provide a string, and we provide max here, which is going to say how many occurrences are going to be replaced. So if a max is not provided, all occurrences are going to be replaced. So let us give a pretty simple example here, like a phone number, or something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and something like US. This is completely fictional here, but let us still use it as a showcase. So what we could do is, let's say we want to remove all of that and we want just to have our number here as one unit, which is something you would need quite often in real life. So how would we do that? Let's say we have a new variable num and we are calling sub on our regular expression. So the first thing we need to provide is our pattern. So for our pattern, we are going to use the following /\d. So this is going to remove anything other than digits. So anything other than digits is going to be removed here. And probably we can find this somewhere here. Yep, matches non-digits. So as you can see, so when you need something, you always need to look it up here in order to find a solution how you would do it. So for example, /a is going to matches beginning of a string, set matches end of a string, and so on. So you need to search for the stuff that you need in the documentation. So next thing is we want to replace it with something. In this case, we are going to replace it with an empty string, so nothing. And we provide our input here, which is a phone, and we're not going to provide a max here. So let us print our number. And as you can see, our number, so let me remove this, our number, the slashes were removed and the US sign was removed here. So if you, for example, use the plus here, then we would have a plus wherever we had to replace our string. So this is going to remove anything non-digit, but we could have been a bit more precise. We could have used stuff like for example, we wanted to remove only our slashes. So what we would have done in that case, we would have used only our slash here, and this would have removed only the slashes, and the US would still be in there. So let us provide one more example here. A pretty common one would be how we could check if something is an email or if it's not an email. So let us do this here at the end. So example, check if string is an email. So what we would need to do in that case is we would again try to search for our expression there, but let us first define how our pattern would look like. So let us create a pattern here, and we're going to put it in a string. So first of all, we want to have, let us give an example email here, email, which is something like my email at gmail.com. So we have three parts here. We have a first one that can consist of uppercase, lowercase letters and numbers. Then we have our @ then we have again text here, and then we have a dot, and then we have a top level domain, so it could be com, education.net or something like that. So in our pattern, first of all, we want to have brackets. So let me show you what brackets do. So matches any single character in brackets, so anything. So we want to provide everything from A to Z, so we are going to do this like that. And we want to provide anything uppercase from A to Z, so upper A till upper Z. Now we want also to be able to include numbers, so everything from 0 till 9 are numbers. That's our first part. Now we need a plus to concatenate that, and then we have an @ so we need to have an @ here. So the next part is, again, after our @ we have a bunch of text, so we can't have numbers here. So in this case, we are going to have A till Z and A till Z. So I'm not really 100% sure if anything here could consist of numbers. So yeah, probably there are emails consisting of numbers here, but in this case, we want to keep it more simple, and we're just going to use a pattern like that. Now, we want to have a dot, but the problem is that if you just type a dot like that, dot has a meaning, and as we can see, it matches an end of line. So this would screw with our example here. In order to escape that, we can use an escape character like that. And after that, so let me just give an R here. And after our dot, we again have three options. So we could either have a com, we could have an education, or we could have, for example, a net. There are many more top level domain names that we could use, but let's keep it simple just like that. So let me copy now our expression here, and let us uncomment this. So we are going to have a search with our pattern provided here. Inside of our string, we don't need to use the ignore upper or lower case, but we can still leave it in there. So if we found something, a match, we're going to print it, and if we don't find a match, we are not going to print anything. So string is not defined. This is email in our case here. Let us run it again. So we found an email. So this was a legitimate email. So let's say we had, for example, a number in here. So this shouldn't work according to our template here. So no search. Let's say we didn't, for example, have this here. We just have a dot, for example. We also wouldn't find a search. And what could we change else? Let's say we don't have a .com here. We just have @Gmail. It also wouldn't find a search. So great. This is a simple program how you would check if an email is legitimate or not. So basically what we have covered here represents most of the things that you can use regular expressions for. It can get extremely complex if you mix a lot of things in here, but this is the basic knowledge that this video should provide you. And as you have certain needs or requirements, you can always check the documentation, which will be linked down in the description. So thank you once more for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned a lot on the way. So if you liked the video, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, or head over to noveltechmedia.com to learn more. So I'll see you in the next one.